Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rahul's Medicine. Now in this video we will talk about the Addison's disease. Okay, now what is Addison disease? It is the autoimmune destruction of adrenal gland. Autoimmune destruction of adrenal gland. Okay. Now let's see what are the causes. What are the causes of the Addison's disease? Now the causes are mainly divided into two. The first cause is the autoimmune. And the other cause is the TB of the adrenal gland. Now, if someone will ask you what is the most common cause, so the most common cause overall is the autoimmune. Now, but the most common cause in India, it is the TB of gland. So the most common cause in India, it is the TB of the gland. Okay. Now, let's move further. Now let's see what will be the clinical feature. Now, as we all know, this is our adrenal gland. I will draw all the three layers. Okay. Now the adrenal cortex has three layers. Okay. We have the zona glomerulosa, we have the zona fasciculata, and we have the zona reticularis. Okay. Now if the gland is destroyed, then all these three layers will also be destroyed. Okay. Now let's see what will happen if, let's talk about individually. Now if this zona glomerulosa is destroyed, then what will happen? Now this layer is responsible for the production of the one hormone which is called as the aldosterone. Okay. Now if this gland is destroyed, the level of aldosterone will also be decreased. Now we has already know what is the main function of aldosterone. It causes the retention. Of the sodium. What it will do? It will cause the retention of the sodium and the water in the body, and it will cause the loss of H plus ion and K plus in the urine. So it is a function of aldosterone. Now what will happen if the level of aldosterone is very low? What will happen? The retention of the sodium and water will not occur. Okay. So what will happen? This level of sodium will decrease in the body. Now if the level of sodium is decreased, it will lead to hypotension. Okay. Now on the other hand, if the water is not reabsorbed, then the level of water will also be decreased in the sense there will be more loss of water in the urine. And this loss of water in the urine will lead to polyuria. So the patient will have the polyuria. Okay. Now third thing is that now this H plus and the K plus ion, let's talk about this. Normally what is happening, this aldosterone will cause the excretion of the H plus ion and the potassium ion. Okay. But if there is a deficiency of aldosterone, what will happen? This H plus ion and the K plus ion will remain in the body. So the level of H plus ion will increase in the body, and it will lead to the metabolic acidosis. Okay. Now same thing with the potassium. The potassium will also be not excrete out, so the level of potassium will also be rise, and it will lead to the hyperkalemia. So these are the clinical features that we will encounter if the zona glomerulosa is damaged. Okay. Let's summarize in one slide. If the zona glomerulosa is damaged, then what will happen? There will be a hypotension as the level of sodium is decreased. Second, there will be a polyuria. The patient will have the hyperkalemia. patient will have the hyperkalemia. And the fourth, the patient will have the metabolic acidosis. The patient will have the metabolic acidosis. Okay. Now this hypotension is occurring because there is a sodium will decrease in the body. There will be more sodium loss. Polyuria because the water will be lost from the urine. Hyperkalemia occur because there will be a more potassium retention. The potassium will not be excrete out. And the metabolic acidosis, as there will be increased concentration of the H plus in the blood. Okay, so these are the clinical feature or manifestation that we will encounter if the patient has a damage of zona glomerulosa. Now let's talk about the second layer. The second layer was zona fasciculata. Zona fasciculata. Now if the zona fasciculata is damaged, now this layer is responsible for the production of the cortisol. Okay, this is responsible for the production of cortisol. Now if the zona fasciculata is damaged, the level of cortisol will also be decreased. Okay, now what actually this cortisol is doing? It is a stress hormone, so it will increase the blood sugar level. The cortisol increases the blood sugar level. So what will happen if the cortisol is decreased in the body? The level of blood sugar will also be decreased, and the patient will have a symptom of hypoglycemia. The patient will have the symptom of the hypoglycemia. Now symptom of hypoglycemia will include tremor. The patient will have sweating. The patient will have the palpitation. Okay. Now if zona fasciculata is damaged, so the patient will have a symptom of hypoglycemia. And why hypoglycemia is occurring? As the cortisol is decreasing. Because this layer is responsible for production of cortisol. So cortisol level will be decreased. If cortisol level is decreased, then the blood sugar level will also be decreased. It will lead to the hypoglycemia, and the patient will have the symptom of hypoglycemia. Now let's talk about the third layer. The third layer was zona. The third layer was zona reticularis. Okay. Now, if the zona reticularis is damaged, now actually what is the function of this layer? This layer is responsible for production of the sex hormone. Okay. Now what will happen if this layer is also damaged in this Addison disease? Then the level of sex hormone will also be decreased. Now if the level of sex hormone is decreased, it will lead to the decreased libido in the patient. The patient will have the decreased libido. Okay. So these are the clinical feature or manifestation that we will see in a patient of the Addison disease. Okay. Now we can summarize here. The patient will have the hypotension. Okay. The patient will have the polyuria. The patient will have the hyperkalemia. The patient will have metabolic acidosis. The patient will have symptom of hypoglycemia. Okay, and the patient will have decreased libido. So we have summarized all the clinical feature depending upon the layer damage here in the one slide. So these are the clinical feature. Okay, now let's move further. Now, as the level of cortisol is decreased due to damage of this layer, what will happen? Due to the feedback mechanism, the level of ACTH will increase. The level of ACTH will increase in the body. Now what this ACTH will do? This ACTH will have a partial agonist activity towards the, it have a partial agonist activity towards the melanocyte stimulating hormone. What this melanocyte stimulating hormone will do? It will cause the hyperpigmentation. Hyperpigmentation. So the patient of Addison disease will also have the hyperpigmentation. Okay. Now let's move to diagnosis part. How we will diagnose this condition? Now the first investigation that we are doing here is a CT scan. Now in the CT scan, what we can see? We can see the gland is destroyed. The gland is destroyed. Second, if we do electrolyte profile, what we will find? We will find the sodium level is decreased and there is a increased level of potassium. There will be a hyponatremia and there is a hyperkalemia. We will find now. But the investigation of choice for the Addison's disease The investigation of choice for Addison disease will be ACTH stimulation test. ACTH stimulation test. Now what we will do in this test is that normally when we will give ACTH to the patient, the level of cortisol usually increases, okay, and this cortisol will increase the blood sugar level. This cortisol will increase the blood sugar level. Now this is a normal thing that usually happen. But in this patient of Addison disease, what will happen? If we give the ACTH, then what will happen? The cortisol will not be increased. The cortisol will not be increased. Why will it not be increased? Because mainly the cortisol is produced by the zona fasciculata, and the layer is already damaged. If the zona fasciculata is damaged, then what will happen? The cortisol will not be increased, and this cortisol will not be increased, so the blood sugar will not be raised, and it will remain low, and the patient will have a hypoglycemic symptom. Okay, so the investigation of choice for Addison disease will remain the ACTH stimulation test. Okay, now after diagnosing this condition, let's move to the treatment part. Now how we will treat the patient of Addison disease? Okay, now we have three options here. Now firstly, the patient is having a hypotension. The patient is having the hypotension. Or to control the blood pressure, we will give a patient one drug which is called as the fludrocortisone. Fludrocortisone. Okay, fludrocortisone. Write once again. We will give a patient a drug which is called as the fludrocortisone. Okay, now the patient is also having a symptom of decreased blood sugar. Now for this we will give dexamethasone. For this we will give the dexamethasone. Now, but if someone will ask you what will be a drug of choice overall for the Addison disease, the overall drug of choice will remain the hydrocortisone. Hydrocortisone. The hydrocortisone is the overall drug of choice for the Addison's disease. Okay, so this is all about the Addison disease that we have discussed in this video. Now, so please like this video, please share this video, and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you.